Yo, what's going on, guys? This is Mustache MMA, and welcome to Parlay Plays, Episode 4, UFC 271, Israel Adesanya versus Robert Whittaker 2. I'm going to go through a couple different variation of parlays that I'm going to play for this card. I'm going to have two parlays per variation. Those variations are Even Money Parlays, which is about even money to plus 200, Juicy Parlays, which is about plus 300 to plus 800, and Longshot Parlays, which are plus 1,000 or more. The way I track these, I put a certain amount of units on each of the variations. So I put 1 unit on Even Money Parlays, half units on Juicy Parlays, quarter units on Longshot Parlays. This helps me track the amount of units I'm up or down each week, as well as overall for the month and the year. So before I get into UFC 271, I'm going to go over the results of last week's card, Hermansson versus Strickland. So didn't do great. I went 1 of 6 for a net of negative 1.05 units. Even money parlays were 0 for 2. Dawodu moneyline and John's moneyline. John's lost via submission, or I believe, to Castaneda. He definitely got finished. And then another L in Barry no Jukwani. Fight goes the distance. Stat lasted 15 seconds. And John's Castaneda fight goes the distance. Obviously, Castaneda got the finish. Juicy Parlays, I was 1 for 2. Hit the first Juicy Parlay of the year with the half unit play on no Jukwani money line and Battle money line. That was plus 390. Got 2.45 units out of that. And then took an L on Bondar inside the distance, Almeida inside the distance, Erosa inside the distance. Only 1 out of the 3 legs hit, which was Almeida inside the distance. Bondar lost. Erosa won by decision. Long shot parlays also 0 for 2, like the even money parlays for this week. Have yet to hit a long shot parlay. But quarter units here, no Jukwani by decision, Strickland by KO, TKO. No, that flip-flopped. No Jukwani won by KO, Strickland won by decision. And then Dawodu, KO, TKO, and Maximov by decision. Hit 1 of 2 legs. Maximov by decision hit, but Dawodu did not get the knockout or TKO. He got the decision. So yeah, went 1 of 6 for that card for a net of negative 1.05 units. That puts my 2022 results at 5 out of 18 for a net of plus 3.19 units. Those first 2 cards I did pretty good with the parlay plays. Still in the green for the year. And yeah, let's go ahead and talk about the parlays I'm going to play for this week's card, UFC 271. So we'll start with the even money parlays. Again, near even to plus 200, 1 unit on each of these parlays. So the first parlay is going to be Arlovsky-Vandera, fight goes the distance, and Green Hakparas, fight goes the distance. This is a FanDuel parlay at plus 156. I really like this one. This is one of my favorite parlays, I think, that I've played all year, so I'm super confident on this one. That means it probably won't hit. But anyway, Arlovsky-Vandera, fight goes the distance. I like this a lot. Arlovsky has gone to decision in a majority of his wins. I believe I want to say that his last 10 wins have been by decision, or at least a very high percentage that is. He also seems to do very well against people who aren't top prospects in that heavyweight division. So if you're generally not going to climb up into the top 15 rankings of the heavyweight division, you're going to struggle with Arlovsky. He's going to pick you apart. He's going to get probably a decision victory. Vandera, he is not a top 15 guy. I do not like Vandera whatsoever. He has been finished twice in his UFC career. However, they were both 2 wrestlers who ground and pounded him out of that victory. He's actually pretty durable on the feet, so he can take some damage. Vandera, I don't think he's that dangerous on the feet. I don't think he has the power to put off Arlovsky. He does have some quick hands, but I don't think the power is going to be there. The only way I could really see, a finish happening here is Vandera maybe getting a takedown and getting a ground and pound victory on Arlovsky. But I think Arlovsky's good enough on the ground to get back to his feet, or some kind of fluke. So really like that part of the leg. Other part of the leg I also really like. Green Hakparas. Green, very similar to Arlovsky. Almost all of his wins and or losses have actually come by decision, besides his most recent victory and his last fight where he got a finish over Al Quinta. However, Al Quinta, he's more in the real estate game than the MMA game these days, so I don't really take too much consideration into that loss or that win for Bobby Green. And then all his other fights before that, they have gone to decision whether he has won or lost. He is very technical with his hands, and he doesn't hold a lot of power. He's very good striking defense as well. On the other side, Hakparas, he does hold some power in his hands, but his knockout victories that he's had, I think he's had a hand, maybe one or two in the UFC, have been from shitty opponents, and not very good competition. Green here with the very crisp striking defense. I don't think he's going to let Hakparas land those big shots on him. Hakparas, he's also very durable. He's been finished once by Drew Dober in the first round, like within the first minute and a half. However, Hakparas seemed a little wild there and wasn't really, in my mind, I guess you could say, focused enough. He made a mistake and got caught. I don't expect him to do that again. He seemed to have kind of rounded out that mistake and learned from that mistake against Drew Dober. His most recent fight, he lost to Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker, a very good MMA fighter and a finisher in himself, and he was able to outlast that. So I do favor Green to get the decision victory. However, just in case, I think it's a very safe play that this fight goes the distance. So again, Arlovsky-Vandera, fight goes the distance. That's the first leg. The second leg, Green Hakparas, fight goes the distance. Two leg parlay comes out to plus 156 on FanDuel, 1 unit on that guy. Second parlay, I got Wells inside the distance and O'Neal money line with the over 1.5. This comes out to plus 152 over on DraftKings. Wells inside the distance. Wells is super aggressive. He's got good power. He's got good grappling. Wrestling is pretty good as well. Going up against a very newcomer to the MMA scene in Blood Diamond, Mike Mathia. Now, he's a very strong kickboxer. He's had a very long kickboxing career. He's very tenured in that martial art. However, MMA, he's very new to. He's only had 3 wins. However, they have been 3 victories. Comes out of City Kickboxing from Israel Adesanya's team. I'd assume the kickboxing is pretty good. I haven't been able to watch the tape on it. But being so new and so green in MMA, I can't imagine his wrestling or his grappling is high level. Wells is a BJJ black belt. His wrestling is also really good. He's really strong, good body lock takedowns. I really see Wells have a strong advantage in the wrestling and a strong advantage in the grappling. And I see Wells definitely probably being able to get a finish here, whether that be, a ground and pound victory or submission on the ground. And, I wouldn't even count him off on the feet. I mean, look what he did to Warley Alves. He kept throwing that overhand right, and it landed multiple times and put him out. He's got power, so he could do that. So I really like Wells inside the distance. That's the first leg. Second leg, O'Neal money line and the over 1.5. So I really like O'Neal to definitely win this fight. She's going up against Roxanne Modafferi. Roxanne Modafferi, very durable girl, very seasoned MMA fighter. But O'Neal has just looked electric in her UFC fights. She's 3-0 in the UFC, all come by finish. I'm not sure where those finishes have come in play, but I think most of them are in round 2 or later, which favors the over 1.5. So, I just think O'Neal here is probably better everywhere, definitely better in the grappling, definitely better in the wrestling. The stand-up, probably better in the stand-up as well. A little bit closer in the stand-up maybe, but O'Neal's probably better in the stand-up. But she doesn't like to do the stand-up. She likes to use her wrestling, likes to use her grappling, likes to go for that ground and pound, likes to look for the choke, get a finish. Mix it with the over 1.5. Roxanne Modafferi, again, like I said before, very durable. She's hard to put away. She hasn't been finished in years. She's fought top-level competition in this division and has yet to be finished as of recent. So for those reasons, I like O'Neal to win because she's better everywhere. And the over 1.5, just in case, O'Neal could get Modafferi in a compromising position in the second and, slowly working a ground and pound or sink in some kind of a submission. I do think it'll go the distance, but a little support, if you will, for the over 1.5, and I think that'll definitely hit. So again, first leg, Wells inside the distance. Second leg, O'Neal money line with over 1.5. That comes out to that 2-leg parlay comes out to a plus 152. Price over on DraftKings. That's going to be played for 1 unit. Moving on to the Juicy Parlays. These are plus 300 to plus 800. And again, I put a half unit on these Juicy Parlays. So going over the Juicy Parlay, the first Juicy Parlay, I got Olberg by KO TKO, Phillips inside the distance, and Cannonier KO by KO or TKO. 3-leg parlay comes out to plus 566 over on DraftKings. So going on with the first leg, Olberg by KO TKO. I really like this one. Fabio Chiron, I don't think he has a chin. He got clipped with a short left hook and by William Knight, and only the wrist landed, and he was out cold. Bad chin. So I really don't trust him, and I think Olberg has good power, good speed. His kickboxing is really crisp. I really trust that he's going to probably put him away in the first. But again, Olberg putting on that high pace, high pressure, high volume in his first UFC fight where he gassed out and lost. He may not do that. So he may get a finish in the later rounds. But I do definitely expect a knock KO, TKO from Olberg. Phillips inside the distance. I like Phillips inside the distance as Marcelo Rojo. He hasn't faced good competition. He puts on a high pressure, high pace. He's a very durable and tough guy, but he's been finished a lot in his career as well. Charles Jourdain ended up finishing him in the 3rd round. Jourdain a finisher in his own right. In my opinion, Phillips is just as much as a finisher as Jourdain is. If not, he's even more dangerous with his tools because he's so versatile. Phillips is really well-rounded everywhere. He's going to be better everywhere, in my opinion here. The only thing that may worry me a little bit is potentially the gas tank on Phillips, but I don't think he's going to go all out for the finish in the first round. He did that in his last fight, kind of slowed down, kind of really ate away on his cardio, and ended up dropping that loss to his last opponent. Second leg, I do like Phillips to get a win inside the distance, knockout or sub. Cannonier by KO or TKO. This one's a little bit more on the riskier side to me, but I do like it. Reason being, Derek Brunson, super chinny guy, man. Before he went on his 5-fight win streak, he was finished twice in the first round, granted by Israel Adesanya and Ronaldo Souza, who are both very obviously one's the champ now and undefeated in the division. And Ronaldo Souza was a seasoned veteran, really good striker and jiu-jitsu player. But even in his 5-fight win streak, 3 out of those 5 wins, he's been rocked in. He's found the adversity to come back and win those fights, which is great. But Cannonier has much better power than all of those opponents. So I do expect Cannonier to probably land a good shot, wobble Derek Brunson. But is he going to be able to finish him? I think so. I think the power maybe even knocks him out cold. I don't think Brunson's going to be able to recover. Hopefully he has the IQ to not, wrestle with Brunson after he hurts him. Lets him stand up if he comes down. That is my worry here, that Brunson's just going to out-wrestle Cannonier, and Cannonier is not going to have an answer for the wrestling. But I am favorable on a Cannonier KO TKO. I think it's going to happen, and I like it as a parlay piece, especially for, a little juicy guy like we have. So first leg, Olberg KO/TKO, Phillips inside the distance, Cannonier, KO. Second leg, Phillips inside the distance. Third leg, Cannonier, KO, TKO. Final price plus 566 over on DraftKings, a half unit on that 3-leg parlay. Moving on to the second juicy parlay, I have Lawrence by decision and Perez by decision. This comes out to plus 588 over on FanDuel for a 2-leg parlay. Lawrence by decision. I like Lawrence by decision here. You know, he has that really high pace, high pressure, grinding wrestling type style, constantly not letting you breathe, taking you down at will, really good cardio. On the feet, you know, he maintains distance really well. He does a lot of spinning kicks where he can hit you. And then when you try to close the distance, that's when he goes in for the wrestling and doesn't let you breathe, constantly chest to chest. His opponent, Manny Martinez, he throws high volume on the feet. He has power in his hands as well, very good power. However, I don't think he's going to be able to land those shots. I think Lawrence is going to be very weary of that power. He's going to maintain the distance really well, use his kicks and his spinning attacks at range to maybe slowly lure him in. Eventually, he's at wrestling. I think he has a big wrestling advantage here, and I think he's going to grind his way to a decision over Manny Martinez. Manny Martinez, his wrestling hasn't been tested, and this is going to be a tough test for him and a really good wrestler with Lawrence. So yeah, really like a Lawrence decision here. Moving on to the next leg, Perez by decision. Matt Schnell, a very durable guy. He's been finished by strikes before. His most recent was Alexander Pantoja. However, he was just super wild and reckless in that fight with the stand-up. And his last 2 fights after that, the most recent ones, he's really improved upon that. He's not as reckless on the feet. And even with the knockout perspective, Perez isn't much of a KO, TKO guy. He's only had one real TKO, KO in his UFC career, and that was early. And then he had a leg kick TKO over Juicy Formiga. So hold what you will to that. In terms of submission now, Schnell, very good grappler. I don't think Perez is going to want to go to the ground much with him. It's a little dangerous. I think probably standing up on the feet may be better for him. Schnell has a very good guard, and he throws up. He's very active in his guard, and he does throw up good triangles. He's got a really good triangle to throw up. So I like Perez to probably play it smart here, keep it on the feet, maybe use the wrestling a little bit to get it up against the cage, maybe get some takedowns just for some positional time, just play it super safe on the ground if he goes there. On the other side, Matt Schnell, not much of a power puncher. He does have pretty quick hands, a little bit of power in there and good combos, but I don't expect him to have the kind of power to put away Perez. Perez does have a pretty good shin. And then on the other side, again, Schnell potentially could get the submission if Perez isn't careful on the ground, but I think that's the only way he's going to get the submission is in his guard. He's had 2 triangle finishes in the UFC, and I believe they were both in his guard. So yeah, I like Perez to win this one, and I like him to win it by decision. So first leg, Lawrence by decision. Second leg, Perez by decision. That 2-leg parlay comes out to plus 588 on FanDuel, a half unit on that guy. Moving on to Longshot Parlays, plus 1,000 or more quarter units on these guys. We got first Longshot Parlay, O'Neal by decision, Arlovsky by decision, Green by decision. So a little bit of an overlap here, so I won't go too much into this one. But anyway, 3-leg parlay comes out to plus 1,230 over on FanDuel. So O'Neal decision, again, I said it before for all these, so I'll gloss over them very quickly. Modafferi, she has an edge on Modafferi everywhere. Modafferi is super tough, very durable. She's faced top competition in her of recent in the UFC, and she's been able to outstand all those. So I like O'Neal by decision. Arlovsky, again, I think he's better. He's the top 15 kind of gatekeeper. Vandera is not a top 15 guy. I don't think he's going to get the win. Vandera, very durable on the feet. Only 2 losses in the UFC have come by finish, but they've been by wrestlers who have taken him down and done a little ground and pound. That's not what Arlovsky does. He's standing on the feet, and he's a movement and touch you up kind of guy now. And then Green by decision. Again, I like Green over Haqparast. I like Green's defense here. He's going to make Haqparast miss a lot. Also, Green, not much of a power guy, more of a volume guy, throw it out there, touch you kind of guy. So, yeah, first leg, O'Neal by decision. Second leg, Arlovsky by decision. Third leg, Green by decision. 3-leg parlay at plus 1230 over on FanDuel, quarter unit on that guy. And then the last Longshot parlay and last parlay of the video, I've got Hernandez by decision and Tuivasa by KO TKO. Going with my boy, celebrating with the shoey, baby. Hernandez by decision. He's going against Renato Moicano. I like Hernandez. I think he's has the edge in the stand-up here. He's definitely going to have a disadvantage in the grappling, but I think Hernandez's wrestling is good enough to probably keep this one on the feet for the most part. If Moicano does get it to the ground, I think Hernandez can slowly work his way up and not lose too much control time if that happens. And then Hernandez, again, I think he's better on the feet. He's good combination, decent power, but not kind of put your lights out power. And then the losses that Moicano has faced have been against really good power guys in terms of a knockout. So that comes from Jose Aldo, Chang Young-sung, and Rafael Fiziev. All 3 of those guys have really good striking, really good power. I believe Hernandez's striking and power is a step below, so I don't think he's going to be able to knock out Moicano. But I do think he's going to be able to piece him up enough to get at least 2 out of 3 rounds and win a decision. So that was the first leg. Second leg, Tuivasa by KO TKO. Going to take a shot here, man. I like Tuivasa in this one over Derek Lewis. Derek Lewis plotting forward. Both of these guys are going to have to respect each other's power. Now, Derek Lewis's last fight against Chris Daukaus, Derek Lewis did not respect Chris Daukaus' power because he didn't have enough to hurt Lewis. This is going to be a little different. Maybe play out a little bit similarly to Derek Lewis, Francis Ngannou, where they're both kind of respecting each other's power a little bit too much and not throwing any action at all. But I think there will be a little bit more action in that. Tuivasa likes to bang. Derek Lewis likes to bang. Let's see it happen. It's going to be exciting. But anyway, I favor Tuivasa in this one. His heavy leg kicks on a plotting forward. Derek Lewis is going to hurt his legs a lot. His movement's going to get, a little destroyed there. And that's going to hurt 2 things. One, his movement, so he's going to be more hittable for Tuivasa to come in and do his little stance switch where he can find his range and throw those power shots. And 2, it's going to hurt the power of Derek Lewis. He needs that lead foot planted firmly on the ground to throw 100% power. If that leg's damaged a little bit, he's not going to have as much power behind those shots. So yeah, I favor Tuivasa to win this one over Derek Lewis, and obviously I think this one's going to end in a bang in a knockout. So yeah, first leg Hernandez by decision, second leg Tuivasa by KO or TKO, 2-leg parlay that comes out to plus 2,420 over on FanDuel, quarter unit on that guy. All right, thanks a lot, guys. If you liked the video, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Let me know in the comments below if you like any of my parlays, if you're going to tail them or fade them in any way. And let me know if you got any parlays of your own that you'd like to, that you're going to play on this card. I'd love to hear them. Thanks a lot, guys. And I will see you next week for the Dos Santos Fiziev card. See you later.